One thing the Wild West had in abundance was the infamous gunslingers. From outlaws to rangers, these are some unseen photos of legendary gunslingers in the Wild West. Adofego Baca. Adofego Baca was a notable gunfighter and lawman renowned for his dramatic confrontations and unique career. Baca gained fame for his involvement in the Frisco Shootout of 1884, where he reportedly single-handedly fought off a large group of armed men in a dramatic and highly publicized gunfight. His sharpshooting skills and bravery earned him a reputation as a fearless gunfighter. Baca also served as a deputy sheriff and engaged in various legal and criminal pursuits throughout his life. The fact that the next gunslinger was a sheriff is proof that there was something really badass about sheriffs in the Wild West. Buckshot Roberts. Buckshot Roberts earned his name from his use of buckshot ammunition in his frequent gunfights. He was a notorious gunslinger and lawman with a rough demeanor and intensive firearm skills. Roberts served as a sheriff and was known for his no-nonsense approach to frontier justice. His gunfighting prowess and reputation for quick action in confrontations made him a feared figure. However, not all badass gunslingers in the Wild West were interested in enforcing the law. On the contrary, most of them were notorious outlaws. Just like this next guy, who might be the most famous name from that era. Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid, also known as Henry McCarty, was born in 1859. He was a notorious American gunfighter of the Old West, majorly known for his sharpshooting skills and charismatic personality. Aside from being a gunfighter, he was a cattle rustler and murderer who engaged in numerous criminal activities. In 1881, he was arrested and sentenced to hang, but he escaped, killing 2 deputies in the process. Despite his youth, he was reputed to have killed at least 21 men before being shot and killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett in 1889 at age 21. Another badass gunslinger in the American Wild West was the prominent and principled lawman Wyatt Earp. Wyatt Earp. Unlike the youthful outlaw Billy the Kid, Wyatt Earp was a lawman, gambler, and gunfighter. He was majorly known for his role in the famous gunfight at the OK Corral in 1881. Earp, along with his brothers and Doc Holliday, faced off against the Clanton-McLaury gang in Tombstone, Arizona. Earp's life was marked by his efforts to enforce the law in various frontier towns, including Dodge City and Tombstone, through controversial methods. Speaking of controversy, this next gunslinger is a controversial figure, reputed as a Robin Hood-like figure. Jesse James. Just like the other 2 outlaws listed above, Jesse James was notorious and famous for his crimes. Initially, he fought in the Civil War as a Confederate guerrilla, before becoming the leader of the James Younger Gang. His participation in the war influenced his later criminal activities. Post-war, James became infamous for a series of bank and train robberies across the Midwest. James was eventually betrayed and shot in the back by a member of his own gang, Robert Ford, in 1882, ending his criminal career. Now, outside of movies, the American Wild West is the only other place your doctor can be a legendary gunslinger. This next gunslinger was, surprisingly, a doctor, a dentist to be precise, yet also a renowned gambler and gunfighter. Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday started out as a dentist in Atlanta, but soon turned to gambling and became infamous for his involvement in numerous shootouts. Holliday is most celebrated for his role in the gunfight at the OK Corral, 1881, where he fought alongside Wyatt Earp against the Clanton-McLaury gang in Tombstone, Arizona. He died young from his illness, but his legacy endures through numerous books and films. Wild Bill Hickok. Another legendary gunslinger famous for being a lawman, gunfighter, and gambler was James Butler Hickok, who was popularly known as Wild Bill Hickok. He earned his reputation through his involvement in several notable gunfights, including his shootout with the McCandless Gang in 1861. Hickok served as a sheriff in Kansas and was involved in law enforcement in various frontier towns. He was assassinated in Deadwood, South Dakota, while holding a pair of aces and eights, known as the Dead Man's Hand. Butch Cassidy. Just like Jesse James, Butch Cassidy, whose real name is Robert Leroy Parker, was a leader of a notorious gang named the Wild Bunch Gang. He was infamous for a series of bank and train robberies across the American West. Cassidy's reputation as a gunslinger stemmed from his involvement in several violent encounters and shootouts with law enforcement and rival outlaws. His charm and strategic mind helped him evade capture and highlighted his gunslinger career. His criminal career included high-profile heists and multiple confrontations with law enforcement. Bat Masterson. William Barclay Masterson, also known as Bat Masterson, was a lawman, gunslinger, and gambler. He gained fame as a skilled gunfighter and peacekeeper in various frontier towns. Masterson served as a U.S. Marshal and sheriff in places like Dodge City, Kansas, where he earned a reputation for his marksmanship and quick reflexes. His gunfighting prowess was evident in his involvement in several shootouts and conflicts. Although his later years saw him working as a sports writer and journalist, Masterson's legacy as a legendary gunslinger and lawman endures in Western folklore. This next gunslinger is best known for killing the legendary gunslinger and outlaw Billy the Kid. Pat Garrett. Pat Garrett was a renowned lawman and gunslinger of the American Old West, who became famous for killing the infamous outlaw Billy the Kid in 1881. His background as a rancher and gunfighter complemented his law enforcement career, involving him in various confrontations and shootouts. Garrett's reputation was built on his sharpshooting skills and tenacity in enforcing the law. Despite his later struggles and controversies, his legacy as a determined and skilled gunslinger remains prominent in Western history. John Wesley Hardin. Unlike other gunslingers, John Wesley Hardin was violent and a jack of all trades when it came to criminal activities. Hardin earned his fearsome reputation due to his involvement in numerous gunfights and his claim of killing over 27 men, though the true number is debated. His criminal career included cattle rustling, robbery, and frequent brawls. Hardin's confrontations with lawmen and rivals were marked by his quick temper and deadly skill. After serving prison time for various offenses, he was ultimately killed in a shootout with police in El Paso, Texas. However, men are not the only badasses as far as gunslinging is concerned. Check out this female gunslinger, Belle Starr. Belle Starr. Myra Mabel Shirley was a notorious figure of the American Old West, known for her involvement in outlaw activities and her role as a gunslinger. Often referred to as the Queen of the Outlaws, Starr was linked to various criminal enterprises, including horse theft and robbery, and was associated with the James Younger Gang. Her reputation was bolstered by her defiant demeanor and frequent irregular clashes and fights with law enforcement. Despite her criminal activities, she was known for her charisma and personal code of justice. An outlaw though she may be, she's got class. Clay Allison. Clay Allison was a prominent gunslinger of the American Old West, known for his violent behavior and lawless exploits. He earned this reputation as a result of his skills in gunfighting and his involvement in numerous shootouts. He was notorious for his volatile temper and quick draw, often engaging in violent altercations over minor grievances. His criminal activities included cattle rustling and participation in various skirmishes. Despite his reputation for brutality, Allison was also known for his occasional acts of kindness and charity. Luke Short. Another name on the list is Luke Short. He was a notable gunslinger and lawman of the American Old West, recognized for his involvement in the turbulent life of frontier towns. Short gained fame as a skilled gambler and gunfighter, participating in numerous shootouts and fights with lawmen. His reputation heightened due to his quick reflexes and sharpshooting ability. Short was involved in several notable incidents, including the Dodge City War of 1883, where he clashed with local officials and rival factions. Despite his dangerous lifestyle, Short was also known for his charm and business acumen. He died from illness in 1893, leaving behind tales of his criminal activities. If you're wondering whether he was as short as his name, that's a topic for another discussion. King Fisher. King Fisher was a cattle rustler and armed robber. He was also the leader of the Fisher-Donahue gang, which made him a feared figure in frontier towns. His criminal career was marked by numerous shootouts and violent confrontations. His skills as a gunfighter and his leadership in the Fisher-Donahue gang criminal career were marked by numerous shootouts and violent confrontations. He was ultimately killed in 1884 in a shootout with Texas Rangers, marking the end of his tumultuous life and cementing his place in history. Bill Longley. Bill Longley is an outlaw who took pride in his exploits and bragged about his criminal endeavors. He was known for his violent lifestyle and deadly reputation as a gunfighter. He claimed to have killed over 20 men and was involved in numerous shootouts and brawls. His criminal activities included cattle rustling and robbery, which he had no issue discussing due to his arrogance. After a series of violent encounters and prison time, he was ultimately captured and executed by hanging in 1889. The next gunslinger is also a ruthless outlaw who eventually met a tragic end by hanging. Tom Horn. Tom Horn was a notorious gunslinger and hired gun of the American Old West, known for his role as a frontier enforcer and alleged assassin. Born in Missouri, Horn gained fame as a scout, lawman, and range detective, working for various ranchers and the Pinkerton National Detective Agency. He was reputed for his sharpshooting skills and involvement in numerous violent confrontations. Horn was convicted of murder in 1902, specifically for the killing of a 14-year-old boy, but he claimed it was a case of mistaken identity and was executed by hanging in 1903. Ben Thompson. Ben Thompson was a mix of two sides, outlaw and law enforcement. He was a prominent gunslinger and lawman of the American Old West, known for his involvement in numerous gunfights and altercations. Thompson was also a skilled gunfighter and saloon keeper, often engaging in violent confrontations and brawls. His career required him to serve as a city marshal in several frontier towns and participate in the notorious 1881 gunfight in Austin, Texas. He was known for his quick temper and deadly marksmanship. But you know what they say, live by the sword, die by the sword. Thompson's life ended in a gunfight in 1884, leaving behind a legacy marked by both his law enforcement work and outlaw activities. That was the same fate this next gunslinger suffered. James Jim Courtright. James Jim Courtright served as a deputy sheriff and city marshal in Fort Worth, Texas. He was a notable gunslinger and lawman, renowned for his gunfighting and his tumultuous career. His reputation was marred by conflicts with other lawmen and outlaws. Courtright's life ended violently in 1887, when he was killed in a gunfight with a rival, emphasizing the often perilous nature of law enforcement and gunfighting in the frontier era. Now, to unveil the first black man on this list. Bass Reeves. Bass Reeves was quite different from everyone mentioned on the list so far. Although he was born into slavery, Reeves became one of the first black U.S. deputy marshals west of the Mississippi River. He was a legendary figure, known for his exceptional career as a lawman and gunfighter. His outstanding attributes were his remarkable marksmanship, fearlessness, and dedication to law enforcement. Reeves arrested outlaws and engaged in numerous gunfights, building a reputation for his skill and integrity. His impressive career and enduring legacy as a pioneering lawman and gunslinger highlight his significant role in the frontier justice system. Charlie Bassett. In the footsteps of Bass Reeves, Charlie Bassett was also a notable gunslinger and lawman. He gained fame as a deputy sheriff and town marshal in Dodge City, Kansas. His sharp shooting and involvement in several gunfights brought him to the spotlight. As a deputy, he maintained order in the turbulent frontier town, but this ended abruptly when he died unexpectedly at age 37. We can't discuss legendary gunslingers without mentioning Johnny Ringo, a notorious gunslinger and outlaw known for being an agent of violence. Johnny Ringo. The spotlight landed on Ringo when he became a member of the Clanton-McLaury gang during the Lincoln County War. His reputation for deadly gunfights and criminal activities stemmed from his involvement in numerous violent encounters. Ringo's life ended mysteriously, reportedly by suicide in 1882. Bill Doolin. Bill Doolin was the leader of the Doolin-Dalton gang. He was a notorious gunslinger who was involved in a series of high-profile bank and train robberies. His marksmanship and leadership skills earned him a fearsome reputation. Doolin's criminal activities eventually led to a violent end when he was killed in a shootout with lawmen in 1896, ending his turbulent career. The next gunslinger on this list is also a gang leader, although he was more known for his ruthlessness than gunslinging. Cherokee Bill. Cherokee Bill was popularly associated with leading a gang responsible for multiple robberies and murders. As a notorious gunslinger and outlaw, he was known for his violent criminal career. His quick draw and ruthless nature made him feared. Cherokee Bill's criminal activities and confrontations with law enforcement culminated in his capture and execution in 1895. Harvey Logan, Kid Curry. Harvey Logan, known as Kid Curry, a member of the Wild Bunch gang, was a notorious gunslinger who became famous for his involvement in bank and train robberies. His violent temper and sharpshooting skills aided the numerous murders he committed. Kid Curry's criminal career ended with his suicide in 1904, following a shootout with lawmen, marking a dramatic close to his outlaw life. Sam Bass. Another equally notorious gunslinger was Sam Bass. He and his gang members partook in multiple bank and train robberies, gaining infamy as a result. Known for his sharpshooting and daring heist, Bass's criminal activities spanned several states. His life ended violently when he was killed in a shootout with lawmen in 1878. To be honest, he probably got what he deserved, just like this next outlaw who was eventually hanged to death. Tom Blackjack Ketchum. Tom Blackjack Ketchum was a notorious gunslinger and formidable member of the Ketchum-McKinney gang. His famous train and bank robberies brought him into the spotlight, giving him a criminal career and earning him the gunslinger title. Ketchum's criminal career was marked by his violent confrontations and sharpshooting. Harry Tracy. Harry Tracy was a repeated abuser of the law, known for his daring escapes and violent crimes. Tracy became infamous for his series of bank robberies and a dramatic prison escape. His criminal activities led to a statewide manhunt in Washington and Oregon. Tracy's life ended in a shootout with lawmen in 1902, bringing to an end his notorious and adventurous outlaw legacy. Jim Miller. Jim Miller was a Texas-born who became a feared gunslinger and outlaw. His violent reputation was associated with his numerous criminal activities, including cattle rustling and murder. He later earned a reputation as a hired gun, believed to have committed over a dozen murders. Miller's violent career ended when he was executed by hanging in 1909. John Selman. Like every other gunslinger, John Selman was known for his violent confrontations and criminal activities. Selman gained infamy for his involvement in various shootouts and his role in the murder of lawmen. His reputation was attributed to his sharpshooting skills and ruthless nature. Selman's life ended violently when he was killed in a shootout in 1894, cementing his legacy as a feared gunslinger. The next gunslinger has a different mix to this list. Porter Rockwell. Porter Rockwell was a gunslinger and lawman of the American Old West, renowned for his role as a bodyguard and enforcer for Mormon leaders. Known for his remarkable shooting skills and fierce reputation, Rockwell was involved in various violent confrontations and was reputedly a key figure in defending the Mormon settlement. His colorful life included several criminal allegations, but he remains a legendary figure in Western lore. This next gunslinger is shockingly famous for a part of his body, which was quite big. I don't know what you're thinking right now, but it was his nose. George Parrott. Big Nose George. George Parrott was also known as Big Nose George for his oversized nose. He was the Pinocchio of the Wild West. He gained infamy for his involvement in bank robberies and violent confrontations. Parrott's criminal career included a high-profile shootout and custody escape. After being captured, he was executed in 1880. His body was later used for medical research because, that nose was outstanding. Ben Kilpatrick, the Tall Texan. Speaking of outstanding, Ben Kilpatrick was known as the Tall Texan, apparently because of his height. He was a notorious outlaw and gunfighter of the American Old West. He gained infamy as a member of the Wild Bunch gang, involved in bank and train robberies. Kilpatrick was captured and later killed while attempting to escape from prison in 1912. I guess when you're the tallest outlaw, you become hard to miss. Bill Tillman. As a deputy U.S. Marshal and sheriff, Bill Tillman's role involved sharpshooting and effective law enforcement in frontier towns like Dodge City. He was reputable for his numerous confrontations with outlaws and criminals. As a renowned lawman and gunslinger of the American Old West, Tillman's legacy brought about significant contributions to frontier justice and shaped the law enforcement of the Old West. Fred Waite. This next gunslinger was associated with key figures like Billy the Kid. He was also notable for his role in the Lincoln County War. Fred Waite was a prominent gunslinger and lawman who served as a deputy sheriff. His involvement in violent confrontations and shootouts earned him a reputation as a skilled gunfighter. Waite later settled into a quieter life before his death in 1899, leaving behind a notable legacy. That was exactly what the next gunslinger did after retirement. Solomon Saul Starr. Solomon Saul Starr was a notable figure of the American Old West, known primarily as a gunslinger and lawman. He was popularly known for his involvement in the turbulent life of frontier towns. Starr was known for his skill with firearms and his participation in several violent encounters. His later years saw him shifting to quieter pursuits, but his legacy as a gunslinger remains in the sand of time. This next gunslinger, however, might be the scariest of them all. His name alone was enough to strike fear in the hearts of his rivals. Liver-Eating Johnson. Liver-Eating Johnson, whose real name is John Jeremiah Garrison Johnston, was a notorious gunslinger and frontiersman, allegedly known for eating the livers of his enemies. He was involved in numerous violent confrontations and conflicts with Native American tribes. His life, marked by intense violence and survival, became legendary, blending fact and folklore in the rugged history of the frontier. To end this video, the next person was a marshal in El Paso, Texas, albeit a notable gunslinger. Dallas Studenmeyer. With his sharpshooting and fearless approach, Dallas Studenmeyer was involved in several high-profile gunfights, including the notorious Studenmeyer-Mundine gunfight. His career was marked by his tough demeanor and effectiveness in maintaining order. Unfortunately, Studenmeyer's life ended abruptly in a shootout in 1882. If you like this type of content and want to see more, like this video and subscribe to our channel. Also, turn on your notifications so you'll be the first to know when we drop the next amazing video.